Do I really only have water to drink for you guys? Okay, well, here we go. Some good shit. Hi friends, welcome back. There's a few new people here, so to some new subscribers, hello, thank you for being here. Apologies for not uploading for the last couple of weeks. I have taken a little bit of time off because of things that I will talk about in this video, so today is just a very chatty get ready with me. Whenever I'm feeling a little unmotivated, whenever I'm feeling a little bit stuck, I always do one of these videos, and it usually helps me to just sort of, you know, get the ball rolling and help me just build some momentum so that I can create some more stuff for you guys. So if you are into getting to know me a little bit better and getting to know the deep dark crevices of my brain, and also if you're interested in how we got to here today and what I used, just keep on watching. Let's get started. Yes, I have not been here in a little while. I am very aware. Let's just start putting on my face because I, you know, contrary to most of my life, have places to be and shit to do. So today is just going to be getting ready, giving you a little life update, because I do these videos when I'm feeling a little bit unmotivated. Wasn't expecting to just sort of disappear for the last 2 weeks because when I got back from my vacation, I was totally ready to dive right back in, but I kind of underestimated how little time I had before my next contract started. For those of you who don't know, I am an actor by trade and I work primarily in the theater. So sometimes I will just be uploading less frequently because I will be off doing that, either part-time or full-time depending on the contract. When I am in a show, it leaves me less time to do this, which sucks because, you know, I feel like I'm gaining momentum now. I've been seeing lots of new faces pop up and a couple of new subscribers every week, which has been more than, you know, last year. So it's all very exciting. I just wish I had more time at this particular moment to dedicate to creating for you guys, because I do have lots of ideas and they're all sort of like sitting there percolating. At the moment, I'm feeling a little bit unmotivated because so much of my energy is being put into the show right now. Let me put on some foundation while I talk about my show. If you live in the lower mainland, this is something that you can come see. I'm in a production of a musical called Rock of Ages. It is going up at the Metro Theater soon, the end of June. We only have like a few short weeks left before we start. It's a jukebox musical. And for those of you who don't know what a jukebox musical is, it's basically a musical that's just created by putting a bunch of usually popular songs or pop songs into a show and then creating a story around it. Some examples are Mamma Mia, We Will Rock You. So Rock of Ages is pretty much just that, except it's multiple artists, which is kind of unusual. It's basically just multiple artists from the 80s. It's just a lot of 80s hair metal thrown together with a very thin storyline. It's really fun, actually. It's the least serious show I think you'll ever see. All just about the music. It's all about having fun, which jukebox musicals usually are. Just about, I mean, this sounds bad, but capitalizing on, you know, the fan bases of, you know, the said genre or artist. You know, in case anyone actually is in Lower Mainland and wants to check it out, I will just leave the ticket link down below. Let me know that you're coming to see it and come say hi. That's the reason why I've been MIA between that and just, you know, my job. Apologies for that, but it does periodically happen on this channel. So if you are new here and wondering why the hell I haven't uploaded in like 2 weeks, that's why. I got other jobs. I don't make any ad revenue off this channel yet. Once I do, I can start focusing more on it and I can make more time for this if it starts, you know, becoming actually monetized. My goal is to make this into a job. I really would love to have a proper space to do it in, a space big enough to have guests comfortably. I have had guests on my channel before and it's been really cute and fun. Miraculously, somehow I made it work, which was kind of insane. I didn't think I could fit more than one human being up here for my next guest, which by the way is happening soon. She'll be in here and we'll be crammed into my teeny tiny hobbit filming space, which is fun but can also get really hot and really sweaty and really cramped, and I have to sort of like do some gymnastics to try and get around their face, and so it can be a little bit tricky. I hope one day to actually have a full studio, a space, a room, anything that has, you know, actual ceilings. I'm hoping that the next place that me and Andrew move will have the capacity for that. It's been looking a little bleak because if you don't already know, the housing crisis in Vancouver is real, and with me and Andrew Andrew, people who work in the arts pretty much exclusively. We don't really have, you know, a whole lot of bank. Don't get me wrong, Andrew is like an incredibly successful actor, so it's not his fault. I have not been working as much as I, you know, at nearly 30 thought I would be. I've talked about that before. I don't want to belabor the point. We're trying to find places in the same area that we live, but it's nearly impossible to find something like that in our budget anymore. The place we live in has been insanely affordable, but as you might have gleaned from the little you see in the frame, it's not the most ideal place to stay. It's run down. There's mold growing in the bathroom. The appliances haven't been updated for like 20 years. It's just kind of a dingy space, and the ceilings aren't even tall enough for me to reach my arms up when I'm standing at full height. Andrew's a pretty simple guy and doesn't need much. He's never really had the impetus to move until, of course, I come into the picture and I try and live here for, you know, 2 years and I go, I've had enough. I just want a space that isn't in a basement. I want a space with lots of natural light. I would love to have an outdoor space, like a tiny balcony even. God, I mean, there's so many things I would love, but they're just not in our budget, especially for where we need to live. And if we move any farther away from here, it'll be just like really increasingly difficult for him to get to work. And I don't want to do that to him. I don't want to be like, we're gonna move to Burnaby and like you're just gonna have to deal with it because I want more space. It's like, that's rude and frankly like really selfish. So I don't want to be that person. I think if I weren't here and if I weren't living with him, he wouldn't move. Before we found out that we were getting rent evicted, the move was going to be mainly for my benefit. However, we did find out that the new landlord is looking to rezone all 3 of these properties near here and bulldoze them to build a condo. Which is just like so cliche for Vancouver, but I mean, who wouldn't, right? I mean, you have 3 dilapidated houses on the same block. It's kind of a no-brainer. I understand it. You know, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Anyway, I'm going on far too long about this. Every move he's ever done has been under duress and been negative and very stressful. So he's never been able to move, you know, in peace. It can be less stressful. It can be on your own terms. And that's what I wanted to do. It's kind of impossible for us to find anything under like $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, mind you. And some of these aren't even new builds. They're old houses. They're basement suites. That's just what you get here though. Anyway, the point of me starting this whole fucking saga is that the other day, a friend of mine posted on Facebook saying that a suite in their place opened up for rent July 1st. You know, it's a 2-bedroom, so I immediately like almost write it off thinking like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to afford 2 bedrooms in the city. But then she goes on to state the price, and the price is what we would be paying for a 1-bedroom. A 1-bedroom, but 2. I immediately messaged her and I was like, listen, Andrew and I are looking and that is our budget, and 2 bedrooms would be so ideal because that would mean I would have an actual studio, like a real one, like a whole room dedicated to this channel and makeup in general and filming and creating. This is too good of an opportunity to pass up. So I messaged her right away and she was like, okay, call him like now. I called the landlord the next day. She said to tell the landlord that I was a friend of hers because he was willing to give a little friends discount, which would be perfect. I'm feeling really positive about it. I really hope that we have a good chance at getting this place because it would be the dream. I would just really love to start fresh somewhere with Andrew and have some place that we work on together, as opposed to me just like, you know, pushing myself into a space, which I've always kind of felt like I was doing here. So anyway, that's sort of like the big thing right now that I'm focusing on. Cross your fingers for me, folks. I'm just gonna pat these out. I still don't really know what I want to do with my face. I've got a couple of new things that I really want to show you because I've just fallen in love with them. But then the rest of it, I'm kind of like, I don't really know. Didn't really feel like doing a tutorial today because I just felt like chatting too much and I felt like I need to explain myself in my absence. So the last time I tried to do a tutorial and then talk too much, someone called me out on it. So I've been actually making an effort to look cute for rehearsal lately. I usually don't. I usually just can't be bothered with makeup at rehearsal. But I don't know, I've just kind of felt like lately I've wanted to make an effort to look cute and feel good about myself at rehearsal. So it hasn't been like super extra over the top makeup because I don't want to look like, you know, too made up. I'm trying to like get better at just narrowing down my routine so that I get out the door faster. With makeup, I've never been fast at it. And I've always marveled and been in awe of those people who can just be like, yeah, I just like, you know, throw on a face in 20 minutes and get out the door. And you're like, how though? How can you do a full full beat, foundation, concealer, powders, bronzer, blush, highlight, brows. Like, how can you do all of that in the time it takes me to get to here? I've been filming now for 22 minutes and I literally only have my base done. Like, I can't go out like this. If you're one of those people that has a 20-minute face or a 15-minute face or even like a 5-minute face, like, gosh, tell me all about it. I want to know what your whole technique is just getting makeup on and getting out the door. I need to know, because sometimes I want to look cute, but I also like only have 20 minutes and like I don't have an hour. Like, an hour is usually the bare minimum for me. If I want to get just a quick face on and just get like the essentials on, it'll still be an hour. So I've been trying to really perfect that. That's been my goal so far, trying to do my best to be as efficient, and I've gotten it down to, you know, just under an hour, and that's just the basics. No eyeshadow, mascara, no lashes, plus a lip. Just loving a good neutral lip combo lately. I've recently gotten on the Maybelline Superstay train. I don't know why I slept on this for so long. I'm kind of floored how good they are. I'll show you one of them today, but I'm actually obsessed. I didn't realize that the hype was truly real. To all the Superstay lovers that I doubted, I'm sorry. Like, I truly apologize. The formula just does not move. It does not budge. It does not go anywhere. You can eat with it. You can drink with it. You can sweat in it. You can probably smear your face all over somebody else and it still won't go anywhere. I don't know what it's made of. I threw it on before rehearsal and when I got home, it looked the same. And not even the longevity of it, but the texture of it was the same. And how is it not sticky? Like, it's not even sticky. I'm putting on too much bronzer as usual. Also, as much as I love butter bronzer, I really want to try a couple of new bronzers. I used to be a Hoola stan. I just think it's a bit too extreme for me. The color is just a bit too orangey on me, and Hoola Light's just like way too light for me. But a bronzer has been like my go-to OG for basically this entire channel, to the point where I'm sure people are getting really tired of it. So if anyone has any bronzing recommendations, drugstore, high-end, no matter what it is, I want to try it, so let me know. I've been seeing lots of good things about the new Fenty bronzers, so I'm interested in those for sure. And then I also have always wanted to try the Marc Jacobs Tantastic, because I think it was actually Manny back in the day who tried it on his channel for the first time, and he was just like, this is the best bronzer for people who just want something a little bit more cool toned and more neutral and not super warm. In the back of my head, I've been like kind of always thinking about that one bronzer. Has anyone tried that one before? I want to know your thoughts on it. Oh, my nose is kind of a mess. I'm going to just give it a little bit of contour and try and talk while I'm doing this. It's gonna be tough. Maybe this will help. I don't know. Might do more harm than good. Sometimes my nose contour can just lift all of my foundation up if it hasn't been set. Might be exactly what's happening today. This happens sometimes when I use a brush to blend out my concealer as opposed to a sponge. I think it was a week ago when I attempted to film. I was gonna do full on tutorial blue eyeshadow to match my what was then blue hair. It's not quite as blue anymore, but I was gonna go full drag tutorial and a cut crease and some glitter. As soon as I started blending eyeshadow, it was not going the way I had planned. It was weird because I had done this look before. When I went to go see Trixie Mattel, I did this like crazy blue half cut crease, drag inspired eyeshadow look, and it turned out great. I remember thinking to myself, I actually pulled this off and I look cute. So that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna do this look. I just started blending eyeshadow and it just sucked. Like, it was just a big mess. I don't know what was happening. I was so disappointed. It was one of the only days that I could film for you guys until like today, and that happens. It's rare that that happens on my channel. It's happened I think twice now, and it can be really discouraging because when you only have certain times to fit filming into your schedule, it can really put a huge wrench into your content. It means sometimes that I don't have an upload for like 2 weeks, because if I tried to film something the one day that I had off and it backfires, I have nothing. The sunk cost fallacy doesn't really work in that regard, because you can't just keep going on top of crap. Like, you can't power through it. And so you just have to quit, and hopefully like your audience won't leave you. That was another reason why that I've been away. I just kind of bailed on a look and didn't feel like starting again, because by then I would have been filming into like midnight, and I did not want to do that because I had to work at 9:45 the next day. You know, I'm too old to be pulling all-nighters anymore, just like I'm too old to be only working on 4 hours of sleep. Maybe I would have done that in my mid-20s, not anymore. I value sleep too much. It's been really important in the last like few months for me to really focus on sleeping better and figuring out ways to sleep better, which has been a real struggle for me my whole life. I've never been a good sleeper. Even as a kid, I would stress myself out so much, going to bed early and then just lying awake for hours and hours and hours, working myself into a panic because I had to get up early the next morning to go to school. And I remember just like crying in bed because I couldn't sleep. I kept looking at the clock and I kept counting down how many hours I had left before I had to get up the next morning, and I would just be beside myself with frustration because I wouldn't be able to function the next morning. I knew I'd wake up and I would just not want to get out of bed. I remember getting up and my dad was still up on the couch, and I remember getting up and just walking over to him, and it was like 1 in the morning or something. I was just sobbing. I didn't understand why my brain wasn't just letting me just like drift off. It was so confusing and really scary. I remember my dad like saying like the most reassuring thing possible, which I don't even know is actually true. I think he said it just to make me feel better actually, but he said the nicest thing. He was like, even when you're just lying down and resting, it counts. It counts towards your sleep. Even if you're like sitting up and reading a book in bed, as long as you're relaxed and resting, it counts. And it made me feel a whole lot better when I thought about that, because if that's true, then I wouldn't be wasting, you know, my whole night tossing and turning. I would think, okay, well, I'm not asleep, but at least I'm lying down and I'm resting, and that is worth something. It always helped me calm down. So yeah, sleep's always been really hard for me. Sort of a love-hate relationship. You know, as soon as I am asleep, you can't wake me up for love or money. It's really hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. I hate waking up. I hate it so much. I snooze for like 45 minutes. I've been just trying to like find ways to get better sleep. One of them being like listening to a podcast. That's been really helpful. I've been listening to a sleep podcast called Sleep With Me. If you have trouble sleeping and you need something to distract you from like your intrusive thoughts, this is the one I recommend the most to people, because the host is just super nice. He's a sweet guy. It's not like what you would think would be a sleep podcast. You probably think of like someone with like a deep sultry voice reading poems to you while the ocean sounds waft in the breeze. No, it's nothing like that, but he is really soothing in his own like quirky fun way. His name is Scooter, and I really have to like thank him for finally giving me the mental space to just sort of stop thinking about things and just relax and fall asleep. I really have that podcast to thank for that. So Sleep With Me podcast, go check it out. So that, coupled with finally getting off my ass and actually getting back into exercise, which I know like is kind of a no-brainer. And yes, like I'm super aware that like I should have done that a long time ago. Here's the thing, mental health dictates entirely what you have the capacity to do. For the last like 3 years, I have not had the mental capacity to commit to anything. It's been really difficult, mainly because lack of movement and lack of exercise deeply affects you physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. And I was feeling it hard. For the last like 3 years, I just sat there on my butt and knew that what I was doing was detrimental to my health, and I couldn't do anything about it because I just didn't care. I can't exactly tell you what changed. Might be because I'm in better spirits because, you know, I'm looking forward to auditions, and that doesn't happen very often. And maybe because I'm looking forward to doing shows. That doesn't happen very often. And those two things exponentially improve my mood. Knowing that I'm working towards projects or working towards potential projects changes my mindset completely. It turns me into someone who doesn't feel like an imposter and who isn't wasting their life. I know that that's not the healthiest. I know that I should be finding that without work and shows and all that stuff. I get that. But for now, I'm gonna hold on to it, and hopefully it works. And hopefully I can continue carrying it forward even when I'm not working. I just need to keep going. The other thing is that I have so much anxiety around classes, around groups. Feeling less than in front of a bunch of really fit people makes me absolutely want to never attend class ever again. Dance class, yoga class, any class whatsoever, it doesn't do it for me. I know a lot of people thrive in class environments. I am not one of those people, which sucks because that means that like I've been neglecting my dance training for a few years now because I just can't bring myself to get up in front of colleagues, peers, and let it show that I have let myself go. And the longer I let it lie, you know, obviously the worse it gets. So it's a vicious, vicious cycle. And I'm sure every single one of my friends would say you have nothing to worry about. You are a dancer. You clearly are very talented. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times somebody says that to you. It just doesn't matter. Your brain will always tell you something different, and your brain will always convince you that they're lying to you. Finding activities that actually make me feel good inside and outside is really hard. I just have the hardest time finding anything that I can stick to, anything that I look forward to, that I'm actually excited about. Me and Matt, we started swimming together. That was really fun, but it's expensive. The pool that we were going to closed down for renovations for a month, and that just completely, like, I jumped right off the wagon. So I just, for the longest time, didn't even like make the effort. I don't know what it was that suddenly spurred me on to do something about it. I do know that a friend of mine who also struggles with anxiety and stress and managing those things suddenly posted about this magical yoga instructor on YouTube named Adrienne, and I'm sure lots of you have heard about her. She's very, very popular. And periodically she's created these 30 or 31 day yoga challenges where she creates an entire playlist for you to follow along at home with, and you're supposed to do it every single day. Usually the routines are only about 25 to 35 minutes long. So when my friend touted the magic words, I sleep better, I have less anxiety, I can manage my stress, and also I have abs now. And I was like, I want abs, but I also want to sleep better. I want to manage my stress. I want to get off my butt. Let's just see how long I can go. Let's just see how many days I get through before I stop. So I started with this challenge that she had posted saying this is her favorite one. It's called Revolution. I will link that up here. Instantly, I just like I'm sure a lot of people have with her, felt this like really strong connection to what she was saying and how she was approaching things. And even though I did feel after every session like I had done something to move my body, and I could feel myself reawakening, like I could feel my body reactivating, as almost as if I had been on sleep mode for the last 3 years, and suddenly my body was just like, oh, we're awake now. And as much as I was feeling that, it was also just a really relaxing process to just like totally tune in to myself, tune out everything else, and just be present and not think about anything else for 30 minutes. And when I'm at home, I can just do it in my pajamas, and I don't have to be competitive about it. I don't have to judge myself based on other people around me. I can do it on my own schedule. I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to find parking. I don't have to take the bus. I did it every single day. I did not skip a single day for 31 days, and I'm really fucking proud of myself for that. I didn't post about it. I didn't say anything about it. I just did it. And without it being that difficult. In short, it's been really helpful for me. And I did start seeing changes happening in my body. I'm really thankful that I could just, with Adrienne's help, just be okay with where I was at. And that helps. I know that these things are so obvious and they are not revelations, but when you are just so mired in depression like I am, it just seems like rational thoughts don't matter. For other people, it's fine. You can give advice till the cows come home, but if there's anything to do with you and your body, it's like, nah. I'm gonna just do these brows off camera because like I'm way too distracted talking to you guys, and I just need to get them done. Otherwise I'm gonna be here until the wee hours in the morning. So I will get on my eyebrows and I will be right back. Really all I want to do is showcase some new lashes today, so I'm not gonna go too ham on the eyes. I'm just gonna do a quick crease color. All in all, I just wanted to be pretty neutral because I want to show off some new lashes from Likely Makeup. I bought 2 new pairs from her most recent launch. One of them from the Angel collection and one of them from this new like little lamb collection. I'm not really sure what they're called, but they're 2 different collections. These ones are called Hostile Honey, and these are the ones I'm going to be wearing today because they are gorge. These ones today are perfect for just like a nice, what my friend Tally would say, a light and polite look. I'm just going to go in with my Too Faced just Peachy Mattes palette just because it's the perfect neutral palette for me. I'm going to dip into like just a couple of the neutral shades that are not too extreme. I usually mix these shades quite heavily. I'm just going to fluff this into the crease nice and light just to give a little bit of definition. I I do have a couple of auditions coming up next week. I'm really excited for them. One of which is very close to my heart. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed for me. I'm looking forward to these auditions for sure. It's not very often that I get auditions to look forward to. In an audition setting, it's really hard to just sort of let go and enjoy the ride. I'm gonna do my best to do that. But yeah, I have a couple of shows to look forward to right now, which I'm really happy about. I always feel more like myself when I have shows on the horizon. It's just always been that way. I've just always felt more grounded and more me. That's probably not a good thing. I think I've invested too much of myself, my identity, into being a performer. I should probably find other things to identify with that make me me and not just have to rely on work, which is the ultimate struggle, I think, for artists. I never really wanted or desired a side hustle. I just assumed always that I would just always have fulfillment from my work. I feel like most people out there who are professionals have more sense than that. You thought I was gonna go with Amrisi today. You would be incorrect. I'm going with Mastercraft. I just like haven't found a highlighter on the market that's new that I'm in love with that I don't already have a dupe for. I just haven't found anything. Like, if you have recommendations for new things that you want me to test out on my channel, feel free to drop them in the comments below. And if you have any recommendations about indie brands that you want me to try, big, small, as long as they ship to Canada, I will give them a looky-loo. So this is pretty, we'll do this. Okay, so a long time ago actually, I grabbed one of the Colourpop Jelly Much eyeshadows, and this one is Close to You. Let's give her a whirl. It's so pretty though, and it's not too opaque. It's just kind of like shimmery iridescent goodness. Colourpop continues to be the queen of texture. I heard they might be doing a glitter ban in Vancouver, which like is great for the environment but also bad for me. Hook me up with that biodegradable glitter though. Someone give me a link somewhere down below. I need to investigate that shit. Let's move the fuck along with some lashes. Again, these are the Style Hostile Honey. I've already trimmed them down, and so they are going to just pop right on, and I will be right back. I don't have words, really. These might replace all of my lashes. They're absolutely perfect in every way. I know I say that about every single pair of her lashes, but these by far are my fave. Last but not least, we are going to finish this off with a lip combo. One that I've been sleeping on, and I am sorry. The word matte just scares me. It evokes a feeling of dry, cracked, just Sahara Desert lips, and I just am not about that. I will take comfort over staying power every single time. And I've heard like tell of this formula over and over again. People rave about it. I was actually more drawn toward Globetrotter, which is a perfect sort of brick orange nude. Part of me couldn't actually fathom how good it went on and how well it stayed all day, so I had to buy another one just to make sure that it wasn't just like a fluke. So I finally found Self Starter. I picked it up. I'm so sorry I ever doubted you. I'm so sorry. We're gonna start by lining the lips with the Color Sensational Shaping Lip Liner in Almond Rose. I actually really love these liners. I only have one of them and I should really stock up. They actually glide on really well. This liner though is just like the perfect color for my own lip color. I think that's why I love this so much too. My lip color, but better. Anyway, let's go in with Self Starter. I think this is my new favorite nude. I think this is the perfect nude for me. All right guys, and with that, I am all complete here. I'm always really grateful for these opportunities to just sort of connect and get to know each other a little bit better, which is why I always encourage people to just sort of sound off in the comments below about anything I've said. And for those of you that are new here and are still watching this to the end and haven't clicked off yet and gotten really bored, I'm so excited for you guys to be here. It really motivates me to continue to create, so I thank you for being here. I'm going to head out the door and go to rehearsal, and I will tell you right now a couple of things that you can do to help out this channel if you want to do so. You could like this video, you could comment on this video, you could subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, you could go down to my Patreon link, click it, and go check out all the goodies that I have in store for you guys. I'm actually in the process right now of updating my Patreon and the incentives, and I've just added some more lower level incentives if that is something that was unattainable before but maybe you can afford now. Go hit that up. You can always follow me on other social media. My Instagram is at Madelaide, the same way it is spelled here, and my Twitter, which is what it is at MadSuds, which is MADDSUDZ. I'm gonna go. Again, thank you so much for letting me chat at you for a little while. I hope you got something from it. Please be kind and be generous to everyone you meet out there in the world today, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.